Alejandro, you're muted, by the way. So we see you talking, but we can't hear
Okay,
you.
can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'm going to get started. I am now officially recording the meeting. Okay. Okay, so there's a couple of premises. Please hold your questions until I'm going to try to save 5 minutes. But this is the beginning, this first one, the PRCC websites. I wanted to thank Marvin and Jose for the impetus to begin this. Also, Xavier, who's been helping all along. So the idea is that this website, this is the first of 3, right? Has a new emphasis on the program content and offerings. It also paves the way for the La Voz website to become more community news centered, which is one of the things that the whatever foundation, McCormick, I think, gave us the money last year, was one of their suggestions. We think that the emphasis is more logical, it's easier, faster, and cleaner, so to speak. The emphasis on this website is writing and describing more about the PRCC program, serving the community, more consistent and graphic. All right. What the refresh will reveal that the website, the PRCC website, doesn't reflect the work that the PRCC programs actually do, right? I sent this to everybody yesterday, so you can go ahead and read it so I don't waste your time. But the point is, we need to write more consistently, not longer pieces. They can be 1 or 2 paragraphs in a photo. But again, program staff are not writing. And so you'll see that in a minute when we show you the website. The historical legacy, I think, of the Cultural Center, this allows for us to do teaser stories, right? And integrate them both with social media and the webpage for different events, like, you know, that are part of the history of the Cultural Center or the high school or National Boricua, et cetera, okay? We've made some adjustments that allow us to credit the PRCC program authors instead of having my name, right, as on everything in WordPress. You'll have the actual author's name.
Yes.
This also starts, I think, a more formal or more regular, consistent relationship with the Centro for Periodismo Investigativo. We're going to ask them to publish a 1-page.
Maybe 1 o'clock.
Hello?
Get it. Okay. Bye-bye. Sorry about that, everybody.
Okay. So we're going to ask the Centro to summarize the 1 article per issue, a 1-page summary, because they write investigative articles and they're usually 7 to 8 La Voz pages long. We started incorporating text to speech on some of the articles. If you all look up Eduardo Arrocho's interview on the La Voz site last month, you'll see that there's a button to play the audio transcription. We're going to incorporate that more and more. The monthly focus on the pillars and programs. This is one of the features we want to bring. We're going to ask, obviously, the leadership, which should be present here, to write a monthly piece that we can write around, right? In other words, a short 30-second video, a couple of pictures, but a longer piece that would feature that month on public health or one of the programs, et cetera, et cetera. Better integration with media. Again, the creation of stories is a collaboration with digital. That's called Digitizing the Barrio, with the aim of telling the story of the Cultural Center and integrating all of the historical media, be it video or audio or pictures, right? I would hope that we can bring back, but this depends on capacity, occasional podcasts. Okay, what we need from you all. Programs to commit to submitting 2-paragraph articles and graphics every 2 weeks. For some of you, this is child's play, right? I can say that for Marvin and Communities of Campus. We made some headway in establishing a 1-print page section for Communities of Campus, and obviously we can repurpose that, right, as needed for the website, right? We also did that with CPI and with the Small Business Barrio Initiative. Right? All of these things have been talked about with Jose beforehand, so hopefully people like the look and feel in the print. We're going to duplicate that on the website. We'll work with the writers. We just need them to hand, the articles in or the briefs in. We'll edit them, we'll massage them. We'll make it work. We would like to, and this is toward Juan, really, or Jose, to incorporate briefs on our policy and, input and Puerto Rico and Florida PRCC work, right? To give people an idea. Again, it's paragraphs and a picture, not necessarily of people, but, right? We want to avoid social media selfies, but pictures of our work or representative of our work. There could be graphics. We'll publish it in either the PRCC or the Labos website, depending on what it is, right? It'll also let us set the ground for later this month for Fiesta. We want to debut the La Red Boricua, the next incarnation of the National Boricua Human Rights website, into a diaspora news center site. And we'll take on the upkeep of the Small Business Development and Women's Business Center websites, which is minimal, and hopefully we can save some money and move it into the budget line item. Right now they're paying for consultants, which we don't really get a bang for the buck out of that. Here's our rough timeline, right, for the rollout. And not much to discuss there. We'll be redesigning the La Red Boricua logo and stuff, so that's just temporary. Okay, and then the other pluses, which you'll see here. So the idea is that for our annual events, we developed a static web page, which is the history of these annual events, right? They're all going on for a minimum, I think, of 20 years or something. So we have pictures throughout and video throughout the ages. And one of the things we want to use it for, and you'll see this, we're going to give you the example of the Puerto Rican People's Day Parade. We'll put it up 2 weeks before the parade. And it already has the agreed upon date, time, departure, all the information, as well as, in this case, downloading the sponsor package, 2 articles that were the history of the parade, published in them with the, in other words, people that go there get an idea a little bit of the history of this event. And we'll do the same for all the other ones, and digitizing the volume. Again, Labos, we hope to have ready for the parade, broader community articles, and we're emphasizing small business and cultural offerings in the Labos site, which will mean small business will be demanding more, right, of the people to write small businesses. And there can be 1 or 2 questions to the business people, little videos, whatever, but the idea is that we emphasize small business and cultural offerings. The La Red website is, I've already said this, there'll be, a special section on gentrification and community stabilization. Right now, it's the courtesy of the monographs and book chapters that Ibis Zambrano has let us generously use, right? So they're all downloadable PDFs or chapters, some on Paseo Boricua, some in general, some on PR. So this is it for now. Let's get to the website. Here, sorry, right before the website, this spreadsheet shows the categories, which is that number in parentheses, but next to it, you'll see the post. The post means the number of articles that have been written that capture the category. And this helps to explain, and you can't necessarily put it together right now. Well, you'll see some that are not, we don't have a lot of articles on, let's say, the parranda. That doesn't mean we didn't have the parranda or that we don't have pictures on the parranda. It just means a lot of articles weren't written about the parranda. And that's how this system, WordPress, you have to tag it parranda. So we're going to jump to the website now that we have 20 minutes. Okay, so here's the first home page. Okay. So you see right away, and I'll get to this in a second, up here, this is the thing in particular that Marvin had talked about, simplifying the information in one different area so we didn't have to get to different places to find out. I'll show you this. This is going to be a drop-down menu, and I'll show it to you in the next slide. having trouble with the drop down, but it's already set up and everything's written. So give me a second. Here's where you sign up for our newsletter at the bottom of the page. It's just a way to quickly to it and to encourage people to sign up. This is the parade QR code, which can change every month, every 2 weeks.
Just a second. You have some misinformation here on the Paseo Boricua, Fiesta Boricua, because you put August 28, 29, 2026. You got the 45th or 40-something Fiesta Boricua. That's totally wrong.
43rd Fiesta Boricua.
It's not the 43rd Fiesta Boricua.
Okay, but let's look at. That's
I know,
fine.
I know, but we gotta
Somebody
be
make a
careful
note
there.
of this so we can keep going. That's fine.
Okay,
But nobody's
just
seen this.
saying,
Nobody has seen this.
all of that there is wrong, okay, on that.
That's
on
fine.
Fiesta Boricua.
Xavier, take a note and let's correct
Got
it
it.
and get the right information so we don't put it up again wrong. All right. This is so we can do this, speaking of Fiesta, with everything, every annual event, right? The parranda, we can put this up here with a scan code that takes you to that special page that you'll see in a minute. So if we were to scan it, they would take us to let me get to that parade. Doesn't matter. I'll get to it in a minute. Let's go down. So these programs we'll get to right now. Programs, and this is what Marvin had talked about. This section, this is the homepage, so it encompasses everything in the educational. The fact that you see only Fiesta Boricua means those, when we moved over the website to work on it, those are the latest dates for educational writings, right? You'll see different ones here. Economic development, right? You see a gray spot here, that means we didn't get a graphic and we didn't find a graphic to put up there. This is before our time, as you can see. This is dated 2023. All right. This is just an ad, and I would like to make it, since it's the cultural center one, like Muévete or childcare. There's already a childcare ad. You saw this is up here, the digitizing El Barrio, which will go to their page. Here are the other 2 pillars and the arts and culture initiatives. Again, you'll find them all here. If you click on this, it'll take you, and I'll show you all of those, right? Articles written under that pillar. Public calendar, right? Which I'll show you. Xavier has put together a public calendar that you click here, and it will take you to literally a picture of a calendar with all the dates for community events, including, in this case, since we're on the Cultural Center's page, it will be the Cultural Center events. On the La Voz page, it will be the Cultural Center and community events, like small businesses, cultural events that aren't necessarily PRCC-owned events. Okay, our history, and this is a little video thing that, we did this, 20 years ago, whenever we did this, that the idea is here's the space where video can go. It can be one video, it can be a playlist. Think that the Clementi hearings, right? All the people we had testify, that could be up here 1 month, or it could be only on the education part of the page, right? Go down. Publications, this is just something we can change every month. To download, we have the book and the rights to the book. Usually we had published it, right? So here's those 2 star reporters and journalists, right? When we hire someone or 2 people, we'll put them up here also. Here's a new look for the footer, right? We're going to change this and because you see it's duplicated, but it doesn't need to be. I think we'll put an ad here where we can put a QR code. Here's the social media stuff, our little icons, they all work, as well as our privacy page and the sign up for our newsletter. All right, so let me jump to the next page, which is our first arts and cultural. All right, so here everyone jumps, and arts and culture is the pillar. These are the 2 subcategories under it, right, which we've established. None of this is new. It's a better way of organizing it so we can see, right? So all of this stuff should say arts and culture, and if it doesn't here, it means just that it's tagged with more than one category. Right, and these whites, again, these spaces that you don't see pictures, there isn't a picture, they didn't put it up, but it's both a tech shortcoming and a journalistic shortcoming that we have to ensure that we always get pictures, and if we don't get them from the staff, then we have to figure something out in the moment, but we can never not have a picture. Okay. Okay, so let's go to the bottom. So here, that's fine. And let's go to the next one, which I think they're all in alphabetical order after this. Economic development. Here's our one line. Sometimes it's two lines, but I've taken this from the old website, right? Where we talk in one sentence, we describe what the description of the pillar is, in this case, economic development. Okay, going to education. Again, here's the description, right? We have to figure out the video playlist. Right, so you can see there's a lot of pictures missing here. Okay. Next is the housing. We share it here. Housing description, right? The articles. So this is what we'll emphasize to the program directors in a slideshow in 2 weeks. Next week, we'll be previewing this with the board of directors. Right. And public, no, that's the program directors. Where is public health? Let's see, public health. Let me do a search for it. Sorry. Public health. Okay, sharing the tab. Program. Sorry, still Humboldt Health, Public Health. Public health here, public health. Okay, here. Here's the section, public health, with all the public health stuff here, right? Some of the categories, they're still viable, but nobody's written about them, and part of it has to do with either they're not being used or people aren't writing about them. And some of them transcend the cultural center, like Dr. Stephen Whitman Greenhouse, right? I think there was 2 or 3 articles, maybe 4 written about them, about the greenhouse at the beginning, and then right. So
we ask questions.
sorry.
On the top, the label on the top where under public health, you have violence prevention and urban. Are those tabs going to be changed, or are those just so that we could hit it from
These are
the?
categories from the news in the website, right? So if they need to be changed, that means all of the articles that were written with this category. Sorry, I can't. Hold on, let me finish. Right. If they need to be changed, then Xavier will be glad to take your suggestions. But you can't change something without affecting everything that came before it on the website. So if there were 50 articles written, we lose, or the readers lose access to those 50 articles that were tagged violence prevention and intervention.
I'm just
Right.
saying, those are tags, right, to departments.
They're
not-
categories. They're not tags. They're categories. So in other words, if I were to click on violence prevention, all the articles that were under that category would come up.
Okay, I
Okay?
just didn't know if it was public health and then like.
I know what you're talking about. We'll talk about
No,
it, yeah.
no, it's public health. The way we understand it is the pillar, right? Everything is under that. All the programs that are under public health that was my understanding from the beginning. Okay, all right. Next. Okay, so we're going to jump into a little of the specific cultural center stuffs. The senior leadership, I had done this a while ago, right? So you see Jose, Lisette, Luis, I think it's Natasha and Juan, right? I don't think I have Natasha's bio and
It's on the webpage. I send it to you.
okay, and then it has to be the category. You have to be added to that category. So that's
And you
fine.
have Larissa as well. You don't have her here.
Yes.
We're on the webpage though.
They are. Both of them are there.
We're on the regular webpage.
Yeah, but
Right.
senior
Right.
leadership.
It's so this is that no, but that's senior. Jose's right. That's on the present website. I got to make it in
Senior
the old website.
leadership is the one that we're talking
All
about.
right. So this is our board of directors, which is a new look and page. It's the same thing, plus the publications or projects by the web page, right? Some of this is you see a lot of blank picture spaces, and it just may be the speed of the internet that is slow. Right, because I remember seeing, okay, so little by little it's redrawing itself, right? Both publications and individuals, like Margaret's book, Michael's book, right, et cetera, et cetera. And then next one is the program directors, right, which I want to commend Glenda for doing a bang-up job. We don't have them all, but we have, okay, this got to be fixed. I think we got 4 of them. We got Marvin, Honorio, Ricardo, Jessica, and Janice. I don't know if there's any other ones that we need. That are program directors, but I put them up. I just have to fix this page. Okay. In fact, let me see something if I can do this. Program directors. Okay. Okay, I got to fix this because it should come up program directors, which are the 5 people that I just mentioned. But having said that, okay, so that gives you the next thing then I want to jump to is the specifics of the parade. Again, this is jumping over to the La Voz website, but it would look like this 2 weeks before, right? So we can all focus on one page, not everything, the information, everything we have to make sure that it's correct here. So everything that's derivative of this, social media, leaflets, emails, they use this. So we have to make sure it's this, right? This is the stuff for this year. We have a little section where people can email Leonie, the parade coordinator. We have download the sponsorship application, right? We have the 2 articles that were published 2 years ago, I think, and then Nuevo Dia, the historical one that led to the uprisings that led to Chicago's Puerto Rican Day Parade, and then the one that says in Spanish, right, that unites thousands of Puerto Ricans under the flag. Okay, this is going to be what Leonie and I are going to fool around with. This is just pictures from the different parades, but we want to make it something like a slideshow of the posters or pictures or ad book covers. When we had small ad books, there would be a rotating slideshow because we have over 40 years worth of video pictures. And I think that takes us to the end. So I know there's only 3 minutes left, but again, Xavier will be glad. If you have any suggestions, please email us, be detailed about it. Our next round with the board of directors is next week. And then after that is the program directors, and we hope to launch it on March. I think, what is it, March 1st or 3rd, Jose?
Sorry, Xavier, when are you launching this?
Well, I had a hope to launch it on the third for the 100x35.
Emails up from.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do, but
And the words are not like,
I mean, I think, does anybody have any comments about this? Because, I'm, anything that you want to add, because we gotta, I mean, if we're gonna launch it in a month, we've got to be able to finalize it. And I think there's a few things here that are missing. We got to make sure that the historical dates for the events are correct. I don't know. For me, I saw a lot of articles from the past. I mean, I know that we have had a lot of articles from the present. I don't know if those are going to be included. I don't know who's putting all of that together. In addition to that, I would say that for me, the idea is, how do we get this to be as useful as possible? But the issue here, pay attention, okay, guys? The issue here is that we got 4 pillars. Our work is not necessarily divided in 4 pillars. The 4 pillars are for the Barrio Boriquen. Our work tends to be a little bit different. So I don't know if there's some place that we put that explanation, because the idea is there is, for example, part of the problem that we're having right now would be, let's say, we place violence prevention on the health, which I think is right. But I know that there are a few things like El Rescate, which could be put somewhere on the public health, but on the other hand, it's housing. I mean, I just think we got to figure that out. And I don't know, I don't think we can do that now, but I think these are the things that we got to figure out how to streamline some of this stuff.
I would ask that
Alejandro.
whatever suggestions that you have, we work with Xavier and you and whoever else, but I want to make sure that we can incorporate them before we launch, obviously.
Yeah, well, I have 4 things to say. So one, I recognize the effort here. I see there's a lot that has been accomplished. That's one. Number 2, that I think that this is going to be very successful once we launch it, because I think it's going to help a lot of our programs and what we're trying to do. And then number three, these are my suggestions. One is that Alejandro, I think, is really busy. It has a lot of stuff, a lot of information. So we have to say, what is it that this website is trying to do? Because it can't do everything, because if it tries to do everything, it's going to become very busy. That's one. And number 2 has to do with the education piece. I think that Community Campus, Aliso Campos, the childcare need to be pulled into a separate area, because it's mixed with, like, what they call the festival, these other things that are more community events. That I would separate those out, and then also add the links to Aliso, the links to Community Campus. If we're going to have a separate page for the childcare, then leave there. But anyway, those are mine, because another piece, which is not really for you but for us, on the website, what we're trying to do with the high school, but we're really going to focus more on Community Campus, is that we're going to bring a little bit more data with everything that we do. Like if we say, this is our program here, for example, the after school program. So one of the things that we're gonna add is how many young people we impact. So there is some level of data. I know that Natasha's working with folks on data, but there should be something like that that says how many people we impact. And the reason I'm saying that is because the Julius Wilson Foundation will look at it. They already looked at our website already, but in terms of data, we lack data. Then we're moving from Julius Wilson Foundation to something called place-based, purpose-built, which is another entity foundation, which is about housing and business and community development. So they're going to be looking at that. And I'm glad that you have something there about the business and the housing. I need to look at that more. And then the next one is called Strive. And then Strive is another gigantic organization that funds these ecosystems. So I'm going to make sure that when you put this together, that these folks can easily find what we're doing and then can also engage us and then fund us. So that's my feedback for now.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you. Clarissa?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Primero que nada, gracias porque yo sé que esto es un montón de trabajo. Yo puse todas mis notas. I'm going to request a meeting with Xavier so I can go with him. Y después si me puedes decir qué directores finalmente faltan para que sometan el paro.
Okay, and I would suggest all the suggestions that have been made need to be written down apart from any meetings you want to have, because some are immediate that we can take care of. Some I think are a longer discussion that need to include Jose, because specifically the pillars thing, right? We defined that a while ago. We haven't changed it. Maybe it's time to change, but that discussion has to be had. All right.
Sí, disculpa Alejandro, no lo dije bien. Es que mi sugerencia las tengo escritas para sometérselas a Xavier, pero quiero discutirlas con él, pero van a ser sometidas en escrito, ¿ok?
Appreciate it. Okay, Jose, everybody, thank you.
Okay,
Have a good
thank you,
one.
Alejandro, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Did you want us to repeat to this already? Because Hispanic housing emails
What?
for the opening on California. Are you going for the ground?
I thought, I mean, what's the name I sent? Info.
Okay, so then
Glenda.
you want me